Marilyn San Clemente of Stamp with Marilyn, and welcome to my creative playground. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really cool inset Lotus Blossom card with the Lotus Blossom stamp set. This Lotus Blossom stamp set is one of the Sale-a-bration sets, which is available only until the end of March. Today is March 16th, so it is available until March 31st. And this is a three-part stamp set. That's one of the things that I really like that Stampin' Up! Does with their stamps, is that they make their stamps in multiple parts. So you are able to add multiple colors with just the stamps. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with Lost Lagoon, and I stamped off on the image. And I am then going to stamp the second image, and that's the background image. I'm going to stamp the second image, and they've added these really cool tabs to these stamps to make it easier to line up. And then I'm going to stamp the third part of the image, which gives the Lotus Blossom its beautiful dimension. And again, they've added these tabs to help line up the stamp. And I'm using Lost Lagoon. I stamped off once, and then I used Lost Lagoon again on the second image to get some detail. And then I'm using Night of Navy for the third image to add the detail to the stamp. And then I'm going to add, I'm using my Mossy Meadow, and again I'm going to stamp off for the first part of the stem, and then flip my block over, and I have the second part of the stem, which is the detail part, and I have that upside down, so I'm going to flip that and line that up. That's one of the really cool things about these Clearmount stamps, is it's very easy to line things up. I have selected the All in Bloom designer paper, and I have some of the Lost Lagoon coordinating ribbon. I am using So Saffron for the background card base, and I've used a layer of Lost Lagoon behind my designer paper. So I've taken two patterns of the All in Bloom designer paper, which I love. It's one of the designer paper stacks that's in the main catalog. I'm going to fold my card base in half to create my card base. I have my layer that I have cut for my layer of Lost Lagoon. And so now what I'm going to do, because I want to inset my image, is I'm going to cut a diagonal square into the piece of the All in Bloom designer paper. So what I did was I took 2-inch pieces of the All in Bloom designer paper, and I put it together with a little strip on the back just to hold that. And now I'm going to use my Square Collections framelits, and what I want to do is select 3 squares that nest together. The medium square is going to be the square that I'm going to cut from my designer paper, and then the smaller square is the square that I'm going to use for the inside of the mat, and the larger square you're actually not going to see, but that's what I have used to cut my white piece, and then I'm going to use to make the mat for my frame. So we're going to go over here to my Big Shot and load this up on my trusty magnetic platform. So I have the largest square of the 3 that I've selected and the smallest square, which I'm going to put in the middle. I'm going to roll that through my Big Shot, and what that's going to do is make the frame that I'm going to put around my flower. I am going to use the middle square, and I'm going to figure out where I want to position around the designer paper. So what I have afterwards is I have the designer paper, and I have cut out the center. And so then what I'm going to do before I attach this to my layer is I want to add a piece of the ribbon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the ribbon over so that it's on the inside of the card, because I just need it to show on the outside. So I just have a very small piece. I'm going to put a little piece of snail right there, and I'm going to wrap my ribbon like so, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now my designer paper looks like this. I have the ribbon wrapped around, And then I am going to layer the frame. I'm going to line the frame up the way I like around my Lotus Blossom stamp. And then I'm going to layer the frame on that piece. So I want to make sure that the Lotus Blossom is centered, like so. And then I'm going to line this up like this.